You're then going to secure a hotel room and a spot at MEPS. I guess at the earliest of your convenience, or if you're in a hurry like I was, the earliest possible. MEPS is kind of an interesting experience, and everyone handles it differently. It's not anything crazy or intense. There's no drill sergeants. It's just, it's the one I went to. They have all of the military branches there, and they each have their own office, and they're referred to as your liaison. It just depends on who you joined with. Obviously, I went to the Army liaison, and they had a hotel room for me to stay in that was paid for. I took a bus, well, it was more like a van with like 3 or 4 other people from my area down to MEPS, and it was paid for. I didn't have to pay for anything at MEPS. We were fed. We were fed at the hotel. That was free. Everything was taken care of, so you don't have to worry about paying for any of that if you're short on cash or whatever. So that was really nice. My first time there, I took the verification questions. So again, I didn't take the traditional ASVAB. I took the one that was not timed. And so if you take that one, you have to go to MEPS and take the verification questions, which I think there's like a total of maybe 25 questions, and those are timed, but you have plenty of time, and it was the same exact questions that I had on the first ASVAB that I took. So that really wasn't a problem, and I passed that just fine. The next thing that you have to do is, well, I took my little verification questions, and then I had to go to the hotel and spend the night. We had dinner that was paid for. We got up around 4. I had a roommate, and we actually ended up shipping to basic together, and we are in the same company together, so it's really cool. That doesn't always happen, but it might, so be nice to your roommates. But anyways, we got up around 4, had breakfast, which was paid for, and then we got back on our shuttle and went back to the MEPS station, which was just right down the road. They're not going to make you stay in a hotel that's like super far away. And we did our physical. And a lot of people, I see a lot of people talking about this in different ways. The physical that I had was pretty standard, and I know a lot of females get really kind of like squeamish or afraid of like the pap smear that you have to do. I'll just go ahead and talk about that and get that out of the way. The pap, and also enlisted have to do this as well. This is not just officers or OCS candidates anymore, it's everybody. The like pap smear thing that I had to do wasn't a true pap smear. If you've had a pap done already with your gyno, or you are on some sort of birth control, hopefully you've already had something like this done. So it's not anything different than that. It's not anything new. I had a male doctor, and which doesn't bother me because I see a male gyno anyways, but and then he was accompanied by a female nurse, and then there was a female nurse outside the room as well with the rest of the females that were waiting to be seen. You're not wearing any clothes. And they just kind of look around. You sit down on the little like bench bed thing that they have in every checkup room, and they put your feet up on these little like pedals, and they just kind of look around. Yes, they bring a light down there, but it's not anything. They don't really touch you. I think they're just checking to make sure everything looks okay. I think when they test you for like STDs and stuff like that is either through your P test, which everyone takes, or your blood test, which you will get done there as well. And then through the P test, they will test you for pregnancy as well as like any drugs or whatever. So after that, you go into this room. At my MEPS station, it was a really big room, and they have like little benches, and then privacy curtains you can pull in front of you so you can get undressed into your bra and underwear for females, and then it will only be females in the room plus whoever your doctor is. For us it was the male doctor and then 2 female nurses in there. For males, I'm assuming they would not have any female nurses accompanying him. And there won't be any female trainees in there as well. It's strict. It's really strict there. They make sure everyone's separated. And the females go in that room, and then the room is like locked, like it's closed. So there's no males. Don't worry about your privacy. It's as private as it can get. You're in your bra and underwear, and then you're gonna do like some various like walking and like kind of like sprinting, I guess, or they'll check you for scoliosis, so you'll have to kind of like bend over so they can see your spine. They'll check your feet, they'll check the palm of your hands. I guess they're just looking for anything that could show like physical disabilities or like physical, I don't know, like discoloration on your hands. I don't know, I'm not medical, so I don't know all that stuff, but it's not a big deal. You do have to do a duck walk, which is where you squat all the way down and you walk across the room. Which I think they're just checking your joints to see how your knees work and your back and your feet. It's all just to make sure that your body is functioning properly and that your body can handle what it's about to go through in basic. So, and then for males, they do check your junk down there too. I don't know a whole lot about that. My husband does, but he's shaking his head. I haven't asked any males about it. I don't want to know a whole lot about it, but they check y'all as well. So don't think you get away with that. It's not just a female thing. Everyone's pretty equal in the military. So, what else? Oh, so if you're doing active like I am, you're going to do a swear-in, but it's going to be swearing for reserve. You're going to have like half of your contract kind of like mapped out. You're not going to have your ship date yet, or at least I didn't the first time I went to MEPS. But you are going to have, it's going to say reserve on your contract. Even though you're active, it's going to say reserve until you go in and you officially sign your contract the second time you go to MEPS. Then you're going to swear in again as active. So your contract will switch from reserve to active. I think a lot of people, like a lot of the girls, the females that I know that are like National Guard, they had to do this thing called drill before they shipped. I'm not really sure what that's about. Active didn't have to do that. We just had to meet with our, I don't even know like his official title, but we had to meet with one of the males from the recruiting station that helped us kind of like stay in shape and showed us how to do PT, and we would just do various like physical activity with him once a week for an hour. So like one day a week for an hour, like Thursdays at 3 we would meet up with him. And he was really helpful. He would answer a lot of questions about basic. Granted that your recruiter probably went to basic a while ago, and BCT or basic combat training is always changing a lot. So there are a lot of different rules that you'll have now that they didn't. So there is that gap of information there. And it's always good to like go back if you can and inform them of what's going on as a soldier fresh out of training. So that's always helpful for them. The second time I went to MEPS, so yeah, I swore in for active. And then I had an overnight bag, which was, I just had one, and it was full of pretty much everything I was taking with me to reception and to basic training. My recruiter was nice enough to supply me with a list of things that I needed, or like the bare minimum things that I needed. I would suggest sticking to that list. I wouldn't pack too much extra, because everything that you pack, it has to stay with you until you get to basic combat training. And even then, you might have to toss some things because it's considered contraband. Like, obviously, I'm sure you've heard food is contraband, or I don't know, like pornographic material. And then, okay, they're about to, if they come in here, they're going to knock the camera down. So, you need to like lock the door. But also things like my company doesn't like any kind of like good smelling shampoo or conditioner that you buy outside of the PX, which is the post exchange on base. So we have like the Aussie shampoo and hair conditioner, which smells great, but other than that they don't let you keep anything else. Like, so I don't know, I don't really understand that, but that's just one of the rules. You have to get unscented or powder fresh deodorant. That's important to note. So don't get anything like Dove, fresh cucumber, or whatever the heck they have. Just get the powder or the unscented. Don't bring your laptop or an iPad or a freaking Apple Watch or anything else but your cell phone. Make sure you bring your phone charger though. But anything else electronic, they're going to confiscate pretty quickly, and you won't see it until you leave or until you go on holiday block leave. So it's just, it could get broken. They kind of like just pack your stuff up and they're not super careful with it, so I just want to bring it. Other than that, yeah, bring a lot of bobby pins. Females bring a lot of bobby pins, hair ties, hair gel, unscented. What else? Oh, so my basic training was located 6 hours away from where I currently am, and I was put on a van. We like drove like 3 or 4 hours, stopped, ate dinner, and then transferred to another van with a different driver, and he drove us to our base. I didn't know this, but you go to reception first. I guess I didn't watch enough YouTube videos to figure that out, but when I was on the way to my base, I thought I was gonna have shark attack like that night. If you don't know what shark attack is, type that in, you'll figure it out. But I was like really nervous, and I had just had my little overnight bag, and I got there at like 8 o'clock, 8:30 at night, and there was one drill sergeant, and she didn't even, she had her hat on and she was good to go. I was like, oh my god, but she didn't even come up to us. We just kind of like fell in line with everyone else who was waiting, and then we went into this big reception area. Yeah, it's called reception. So like this big room, and we started to fill out our paperwork. But I'm gonna save reception for the next video. But other than that, you might fly to your reception. It just depends on the location. I'm pretty sure the guys that I met at MEPS who were going in for the Navy and the Air Force got their plane tickets, which is paid for. You do not have to pay to go to reception and basic combat training. Now, if you're going on holiday block leave, which is like this 2-week period where you have like Christmas and New Year's off and you get to go home. You don't have to go home, but if you do have to pay for that ticket home, whether it's by bus, plane, train, automobile, whatever. You have to pay for that, or you have to arrange transportation in some way and pay for it. They will do like an extended pay for you, so if you're straight out of high school and you're not making any money whatsoever, or like me, I wasn't making any money like myself. My husband was, but that's for bills. They'll give you like an advance, like a pay advance, and you fill out a piece of paper. The Army will credit you however much you need to get home for a round-trip flight or a round-trip bus ticket or whatever. And then they will pull that out of your paycheck whenever you have that money. I'm guessing like the next paycheck that comes through. So be aware of that. Don't go home on holiday block leave and spend a bunch of money and then not be able to pay the Army, because that's bad. But they will forward you the money if you need to get home, so don't stress about that. Emergency leave, I'm not sure about. I'm pretty sure you have to pay for that one on your own too. Like if you have a relative pass away or your baby is being born, you can leave for that too. Oh, you can't leave. Oh, my husband's saying no, you can't leave. So if you're having a kid and you're in VCT, you're stuck there. Sorry. So, I don't know, I guess try not to leave for basic combat training if you're about to have a kid, because they don't let you leave for that. But if a relative passes away or something of that nature, that's pretty serious. So, as if having a child wasn't serious. But yeah, so I think in my next video I'm just going to cover more of reception and then basic training, so hopefully this will break it up for y'all. And just click on the next video if you're interested in hearing about that. Thanks.